Hello, I'm Alexis, and welcome to my February TBR. So we all know that I'm a spooky bitch, but what you might not know is that I love love. February is my second favorite month of the year because obviously we have Valentine's Day, and then also at the end of the month, me and my partner celebrate our anniversary, and this year we are celebrating our 9-year anniversary. Oh my god, I can't believe how old I am. There are so many good things happening in February. Of course, I had to throw some romances on the TBR. We've got Black History Month, so I wanted to pack my TBR with some BIPOC authors, and we also have Jante's Inferno Readathon happening February 6th to 16th, and I will link Jan's announcement video below. I will definitely be participating and vlogging that readathon for you all. So let's get into my reading plans for this month. First up, I'd like to tell you the books I am planning to read for Jante's Inferno, the readathon. This is such a creative readathon Jan has come up with based on, of course, Dante's Inferno, and the whole point of the readathon is to read books to help you escape each circle of hell. Go watch her video. She explains it so perfectly. My little brain cannot do it as well as she did. For this readathon, we start off in the 9th circle in hell, and the prompt to get out of this circle and move on through the readathon is to read a book set in the winter or with a snowy cover. For this prompt, I will be reading Boys in the Valley by Philip Frasassi. I just heard about this book like literally last week, and the only reason I'm putting it on my TBR is the girl who was reading this was listening to the audiobook, and she said it was so scary and creepy that she had to keep looking over her shoulder to make sure nobody was watching her. So that is exactly my vibe of book. Goodreads up on my iPad because, like I said, I don't know anything about this book, so let's read the synopsis together. St. Vincent's Orphanage for Boys, turn of the century in a remote valley in Pennsylvania. Here, under the watchful eyes of several priests, 30 boys work, learn, and worship. Peter Barlow, orphaned as a child by a gruesome murder, has made a new life here. As he approaches adulthood, he has friends, a future, a family. Then one stormy night, a group of men arrive at their door, one of whom is badly wounded, occult symbols carved into his flesh. His death releases an ancient evil that spreads like sickness, infecting St. Vincent's and the children within. Soon boys begin acting differently, forming groups, taking sides. Others turn up dead. Peter and those dear to him must choose sides of their own, each of them knowing their lives and perhaps their eternal souls are at risk. Goodreads says it is The Exorcist meets Lord of the Flies. This one sounds so good. I just love a book with an occult element. That is definitely the thing that scares me the most. Look at that. I didn't even plan it, but this is going to be the perfect read for Jante's Inferno because it has to do with the occult and probably demonic possession. For the next two prompts or circles of hell, I will be doubling these up and reading one book, which is Happiness Volume 3 by Shuzo Oshimi. So the great thing about this readathon is you can double up on prompts, but they have to be circles next to each other. And Jan explains this all in the video, so go watch that and you'll understand. So this is going to be my book for circle number 8, which is to read a horror or thriller with dark themes, and circle number 7 to read a vampire book or blood on the cover. This is perfect. This fits everything. So if you don't know what Happiness is, it is a manga about a teenage boy who is turning into a vampire, basically. So we've got the dark themes of him struggling with wanting to eat his classmates, the horror of turning into a vampire, and we even have blood on the cover of this volume. Really love the first 2 volumes of this, and I am excited to keep going with the series. If I have extra time this month, I will probably read more volumes than just the one. At least with the first volume, it left off on a cliffhanger, and I immediately had to start the second one. So I'm kind of expecting this one to be the same. Next 2 circles / prompts I will also be doubling up on, and those are to read a new release or hyped book for circle 6 and to read a battle / war / knife to throats enemy book for circle number 5. For this one, I'm finally gonna do it. Read Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm sure if you consume any type of bookish content, you have heard about this book. I am not a romantasy girly. The majority of the ones that I have read, I have not enjoyed. It is just not my thing, but I have heard incredible things about this book. It is very, very hyped, and I'm sure with it being romantasy, there is either a battle or an enemies to lover trope somewhere in there. I hope all of the good ratings on this one do not steer me wrong. This one is about vampires, and I have a lot better luck with romantasy vampire stories versus fairies. Fairies are just not my thing. As much as I try to make them my thing, I just have never enjoyed a fairy book. I'm not going to go into the whole synopsis for The Serpent and the Wings of Night because I'm sure you've already heard about it. I will just read the little tagline at the top of the Goodreads. It says, "Human or vampire, the rules of survival are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart." I was at Target last night and I saw this there, and the naked hardback has like this beautiful blue foiled snake on it, and oh my god, I was so tempted to buy it, but I am being good. I am following the book buying ban that I have put on myself this year. I am giving myself permission. If I read this and enjoy it, I can go buy it, but not until I read it. I have to read it first. The next prompt for circle number 4 is to read a book you paid full price for. This, I will be reading Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. I bought this one from my local indie bookstore because I wanted to support them, and I am very slowly collecting all of Toni Morrison's books in these editions. They all have the same design on the spine and look really pretty next to each other. Far, I have read Beloved and The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, and I really enjoyed both of those, so I'm sure this one will be no different. This one is about Milkman Dead, who was born shortly after a neighborhood eccentric hurled himself off a rooftop in a vain attempt at flight. For the rest of his life, he too will be trying to fly. As she follows Milkman from his Rust Belt city to the place of his family's origins, Morrison introduces an entire cast of strivers, liars, and assassins, the inhabitants of a fully realized black world. I'm sure this, much like her other 2 works that I have read, will be brilliant and heartbreaking and beautifully written and completely crush my soul and then bring it back to life. I am, again, doubling up on the next 2 circles. So for circle 3, the prompt is to read something with food involved, and circle 2 is to read a romance. For these, I will be reading Honey and Spice by Bola Babalola. I actually didn't see anywhere in the synopsis that this book has to do with food, but honey being in the title, honey's a food, spice is a food-related word. I'm counting it. I wanted to read this one since Kayla from Books and Lala put it as her top favorite romance of the year she read it. So it has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I am so excited to finally get to it this month. This one says, "Sweet like plantain, hot like pepper, they taste best when together. Sharp-tongued and secretly soft-hearted Kiki Banjo has just made a huge mistake. As an expert in relationship evasion and the host of the popular student radio show Brown Sugar, she's made it her mission to make sure the women of the African Caribbean Society at Whitewell University do not fall into the mess of situationships, players, and heartbreaks. But when the queen of the unbothered kisses Malachi Korede, she just publicly denounced as the waste men of Whitewell in front of every Blackwellian on campus, she finds her show on the brink. They're soon embroiled in a fake relationship to try and salvage their reputations and save their futures. Kiki has never surrendered her heart before, and a player like Malachi won't be the one to change that, no matter how charming he is or how electric their connection feels." So while this one doesn't have anything to do with a cooking competition or one of the characters owning a restaurant or a bakery, there were so many food references in the synopsis. It has to have something to do with food, right? And even if it doesn't, counting it for the title being Honey and Spice. And finally, if I am able to complete all of the other prompts and make my way up to the first circle of hell, this circle's prompt is to just read any book. Any book, except you cannot double up with the other prompts. So this one is sort of like our free space for the Readathon, and for this, I am so excited. I will finally be reading Bloom by Delia S. Dawson. I mean, look at this cover. Look at that. No, I'm going to love this book because how could I not with a cover like this? All I know about this one is it is sapphic, and it was Riley Marie's top favorite book of the year last year. And me and Riley usually have very similar reading tastes, so I hope I love this one so much. It follows our main character, Rosemary, who meets Ash at a farmer's market. Ash, precise, pretty, and practically perfect, sells bars of soap in delicate pastel colors, sprinkles spackled cupcakes stacked on scalloped stands, beeswax candles, jelly jars of honey, and glossy green plants. Ro has never felt this way about another woman. With Ash, she wants to be her and have her in equal measure, but as her obsession with Ash consumes her, She may find she's not the one doing the devouring. Told in lush, delectable prose, this is a deliciously dark tale of passion taking an unsavory turn. Are you kidding? Have you ever heard a more beautiful synopsis? Oh my God. I feel like this one is going to fulfill all of my lesbian cottagecore fantasies with the cute little farmer market stand, but also dark twisty turn that the synopsis alluded to. Okay, so now moving on to the rest of the books I hope to get to this month. First up is my nonfiction pick for February, where I will be reading Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I did not do this on purpose, but this pink is just perfect for February. This is going to be my second Roxane Gay, I think. I read Hunger a few years ago and really, really loved it. I love her writing. I know these are essays that did she write these or is she the editor? Oh, she did write these. I don't know why I thought that she was the editor for these. Okay, now I am even more excited. So in Bad Feminism, Roxane takes us through the journey of her evolution as a woman of color, while also taking readers on a ride through culture of the last few years, commenting on the state of feminism today. The portrait that emerges is not only one of an incredibly insightful woman continually growing to understand herself and our society, but also one of our culture. This one will be a really, really great read, really insightful, and be able to give me the perspective of feminism and living in this world as a Black woman is a hardship that I will never be able to experience. I have definitely experienced sexism in my life, but nothing compared to what women of color go through. A new release I'd like to get to this month is The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I know there have been mixed reviews for his last two books, The Patient and The Maidens, but I enjoyed them. They're not the wildest thrillers I have ever read. They're very much popcorn thrillers to me. I usually finish one of his books in like a day because I am just flipping the pages as fast as I can to figure out the twist at the end. I have heard really great things about this one so far, so I am so excited to get to it this month. The Fury is a tale of murder. Maybe that's not quite true. At its heart, it's a love story, isn't it? I did not know this, so this is making it even better of a pick for February. The main character, Lana, is a reclusive ex-movie star and one of the most famous women in the world. Every year, she invites her closest friends to escape the English weather and spend Easter on her idyllic private Greek island. Okay, so we're getting a famous movie star, a Greek island, maybe a love story. I cannot wait for this one. I'm so excited to tell you about this next one, which is Animal by Lisa Taddeo. This one was so kindly gifted to me by Jan Agaton, so once again, thank you so much, Jan. And this one is her Full Moon Book Club pick for February, so of course I will be reading it for the book club. I am not going to read you the synopsis for this one because I really want to go into it blind. All I know about this one is I have seen it on so many book lists of good for her books, like books that support women's wrongs. And that is my favorite kind of book. So excited when I started seeing this one on those lists. Usually I have read all of the recommendations because it is my absolute favorite kind of book to read. So I am so excited to get to this one. Just predicting it right now, this is going to be 5 stars and maybe on my top books of the year. I don't want to put too much pressure on it, but I will be really, really sad if it does not live up to my expectations. Next up on my TBR, I wanted to include a graphic novel to kind of split up all of the traditional novels I'll be reading this month. For this, I am hoping to read Charisma's Turn, A Story of Girls and Their Gifts. This one is written by Monique Kuvson and illustrated by Amanda Jones. Are you guys looking at this cover? How beautiful is her hair in the shape of the butterfly wings? I've heard that this one is about how our school systems are failing Black girls and what would happen if we gave them a chance, the same opportunity as other more privileged children. And last up, it wouldn't be February if I didn't include one of my favorite romance authors, Allie Hazelwood, and her newest release that I haven't read yet, Love Theoretically. This one is about rival physicists collide in a vortex of academic feuds and fake dating shenanigans in this delightfully STEMinist rom-com from the best-selling author of The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. I really liked the last 2 novels in the STEMinist series, not series, that Allie Hazelwood is doing. Like seeing nerdy characters falling in love. They usually have the fake dating trope and they are always so cute. Just the perfect read for Valentine's Day. Okay, that is it for all of the books I'm hoping to read this February. Of course, let me know below what you are most excited to read this month. Are you like me and reading a bunch of romances, or are you sticking with a different genre? As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you read a good book today, and I will see you again soon in my next one. Bye!